All right, it is 9:30, so I think I'm going to get started. Good morning, everyone. Hope that your day is starting well. I know in Omaha it's a little chilly, but a good morning for me. So welcome to my first webinar, Maximizing Your Employee Benefits Package. I am Katie Bruno, a financial planner with Maureen Quinn Wealth Partners in Omaha, Nebraska. As a financial planner, I find that so many of my clients don't realize their company offers so many benefits to them. The vast majority of employees don't use all of their benefits, which means they could be missing out on some things that are financially helpful. In today's webinar, I'm going to review some of the most common benefits found in an employee benefit package and talk through some of the different ways to help you get the most out of them. As we're wrapping up the end of 2019 and heading into 2020, many companies are offering open enrollment to their employees. So you may be in the middle of open enrollment. So it's a great time to take a look at your benefits, change and adjust them, and note where you might be able to take advantage of benefits you weren't and prevent leaving money or resources on the table. I am going to record this presentation, so for those of you who registered, you'll receive a recording afterwards. It's also going to be available on YouTube. We have a YouTube page. It's Maureen Quinn Wealth Partners, so you can go out there and at any time you'll be able to replay the webinar. So let's start. What is an employee benefit package? An employee benefit package is the backbone of your compensation package. It's a part of your overall compensation that's offered by your employer, and it includes those non-wage benefits, so things that aren't connected to your salary. Some of the benefits in your employee benefits package are going to be required by law, and others are not. Employers offer these benefits to you so that they can attract and retain the top talent. There's also some tax incentives or tax benefits to your employer for providing some of these benefits, such as health insurance or life and disability insurance. So the ones that we're going to go over today are retirement plans, life and disability insurance, health insurance, group legal services, and education and child care. If you have additional benefits that you may have questions on, feel free to, and I don't cover today, feel free to reach out to me after the webinar. So let's jump right into retirement plans. I've got 4 things here that I think are critical and important to take a look at in your employee benefit package. So the first one is checking to see if your employer offers a match. Most employers offer some sort of retirement plan, whether that's a 401k, a 403b, or maybe you work for a small company and they offer a simple IRA. So checking to see if they have a match. It's truly free money if they offer a match, and I see so many people who don't take advantage of it. So make sure you're contributing up to the amount that your employer matches. So if your employer matches 3%, you should absolutely be contributing 3%. If your company does not provide a match, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't participate in the 401k plan. You definitely should, and you should talk to someone on your financial team, whether that's your advisor, your financial planner, or your accountant, to see how that benefits you. The maximum contribution that you can put into your 401k is $19,000. You do get about a $6,000 catch-up if you're over the age of 50. Does your employer offer pre-tax plans, or can you contribute to a Roth 401k or 403b? So a pre-tax plan, that's a traditional 401k. You put in money before your taxes are taken out. So you reduce your tax bill today, but when you take out that money in retirement, you're going to pay tax on it. So Roth is a little bit different. You put the money in your 401k after you've paid taxes on it, and it then grows tax deferred. And when you take it out in retirement, you don't pay any taxes. I always encourage people, if they have the opportunity, to kind of create both buckets of income so that in retirement you may have a bucket that you still need to pay tax on and a bucket that you don't. The big advantage with the Roth 401k is if you were to come to me and want to open a Roth IRA, There's income limits. You can only, if you make over a certain dollar amount, you cannot contribute to a Roth IRA. But income limits do not apply to a Roth 401k. So depending on your situation, it may make sense to put into a Roth 401k. It may make sense to do a bit of both or favor one type of account over the other. Did you get a raise? So usually at the end of the year, your employer comes to you and says, hey, we're going to bump your salary by 2, 3, 4%. And so if you did get a raise, I'd also consider increasing your contribution or your savings rate to your retirement plan by 1 or 2%. It's not going to dramatically impact your take-home pay, and if you continue to do this strategy year over year, you're going to be well on your way to retirement in no time. The last thing I want to say about retirement plans is on the investment options. Typically, you have quite a few investment options within your retirement plan. The default option is usually one of two things. It's usually a target retirement date fund. So you may log into your employer's retirement site and it may ask you questions, and you pick the year in which you plan to retire. And the strategy is kind of an asset allocation where as you get closer to retirement, the investments within that fund become more conservative. These are great options for people who don't want to go in and change their allocations. I usually, as you get closer to retirement, ask you to kind of evaluate your options, because depending on your plan, it may not be the best fit for you. You may need to take more risk, you may need to take less risk, you may need a higher return, that type of thing. So it includes some individual advice that you'd want to get. The other default option is usually a cash option. So if you didn't go in and select, there's a good chance that the investment option that you've selected is just a cash, or what we call a money market fund, and it's hardly earning anything. Something that I would ask all of you to double check your investments. And if you did go in and choose different funds, you want to make sure that you have a diversified portfolio. You don't want 100% of your allocation in the emerging market space, and you may not want 100% of your allocation in the bond market. So making sure that you have proper diversification and are hitting many different asset classes within your retirement plan. Life and disability insurance. Many companies offer life insurance at no cost to you. Make sure that you're enrolled. If it's free, make sure you're enrolled and know what your coverage is. It's typical to see coverage for 1 or 2 years of your salary. Depending on your situation, if you have a family or you have a debt to pay, that coverage might not be enough. So it may be a case where you want to look for additional coverage through the private market, just to make sure that your loved ones are cared for if something were to happen to you. Additionally, when you purchase life insurance, it's usually more beneficial the sooner you enroll. So you prove that you're insurable to an insurance company, and then if you leave your employer, you don't lose your insurance because you purchased it through the private market. If you have a health event or something that happens to you, again, you're already insured. And so permanent insurance is usually a solution to that, and it usually accumulates a cash value that you can use for retirement or pass on to your children after you die. So the primary benefit of that is that you're going to save money in premiums over the long term because you're becoming insurable when you're young and healthy. And then again, that if you leave your employer, not losing out on your insurance. So a couple things there. Check what your employer offers, and then look at your situation and do you have a case for life insurance? Sorry, I went too fast, skipped. And if you do, or if you don't know, talk to somebody that can help you, whether it's a life insurance agent or a financial advisor. So disability insurance. If your company offers disability insurance, you may want to seriously consider enrolling. All too often I see young families consider having life insurance when they start a family, but they don't really think about the possibility of becoming disabled or how that could affect their ability to generate a paycheck or an income. Many companies offer disability insurance that covers up to 70% of your salary. The way the insurance is taxed is that if your company pays the premiums, the benefits are taxable income to you. So your company offers this as a benefit, they pay everything, you have a disability, then you start receiving benefits, you pay income tax on your benefits. However, if your company offers it as a voluntary benefit, meaning you choose if you want to enroll and you pay the premiums, then you have a disability, an event that causes you to be disabled, and you start receiving benefits, you get those benefits tax-free. The last thing I'd say about disability insurance is that when it comes to long-term insurance, there's usually a waiting period involved, and so sometimes that's up to 180 days. So you're going to want to make sure that you have that emergency fund built up so that if something were to happen to you, you'd be able to pay your bills using your emergency fund until you started receiving those benefits. Healthcare benefits. So this is a big one right now. I'm seeing more and more companies only offer one type of health insurance plan, which is a high deductible health plan. But if your company offers more than one health plan, you want to look at the plans and make sure that the current option you have is the best one. Perhaps you have great health and you rarely go to the doctor. In that case, a high deductible plan and a health savings account may be the right choice for you. But if you know that you're going to have a major surgery this year or you're planning for something, then the PPO plan might be more appropriate for you. So checking to see if your employer offers different plans, and like I said, I'm seeing more and more only offer the high deductible, which leads me right into the health savings account. So a health savings account is an account that allows you to contribute funds pre-tax. You then withdraw the funds tax-free for qualified medical expenses. And there's a triple tax advantage here. You contribute pre-tax, it grows tax-deferred, and then you draw out the funds tax-free if you're paying medical expenses. Once you put money into the HSA and it hits a certain dollar limit, you can usually invest the funds, and you can also roll the funds from year to year. So some of you might be familiar with a flexible savings account, which is an account that there's something called a dependent care flexible savings account, which is used for child care, and then there's something called a medical flexible savings account, which is used for medical expenses. Flexible savings plans have use it or lose it rules, meaning if you don't use the money that you've put in by the end of the year, you lose the funds. HSAs don't have that. You can roll them from year to year. Many large employers will even contribute to the HSA account for you. So ask yourself, are you remembering to use your HSA for prescriptions or copays? Perhaps maybe your monthly budget is tight, and this could help free up cash flow, or perhaps you have some extra income, then you should be maxing out your health savings account, and you can use that for retirement. Medical expenses in retirement, I should clarify. So the contribution limit's $3,500 for an individual, and if you have a family, $7,000, and if you're over the age of 55, you can put in an additional $1,000. Preventative health benefits. Health insurance packages are starting to reward people who do more to stay healthy and lead active lifestyles. So in some cases, all it takes to get an additional benefit is to join a gym or participate in a weight loss challenge. And so if you're already doing these things, why not get some extra incentive and out of it at the same time? And then if you aren't doing that, then consider how they can impact your health and your well-being as well as your wallet. Group legal plans. So they're typically a voluntary benefit, and that means that you choose if you want the benefit and you pay a small monthly premium or amount for the benefit. And once you have the benefit, you have access to a group of attorneys that you can contact for a wide range of services, from real estate transactions and contracts to family law matters or custody issues. And they also provide a wide range of educational tools and resources, usually tip sheets and guidebooks on the website. As far as estate planning goes, if you have a family, you should seriously consider drafting your will, or maybe you're just a homeowner, drafting your will, your power of attorneys, advanced healthcare directives. Advanced healthcare directives indicate who's going to make those medical decisions on your behalf. And getting these documents drafted as soon as possible is always a good idea. So if you're paying for these services, utilize them when you can. And then, at some point in our lives, we may need access to an attorney for a more complicated issue. So something that would be more than a do-it-yourself document like the estate planning needs or simple advice. So the group legal plans usually offer reduced fees for in-network attorneys that live in your area. So if you're like many working people with children, you are probably paying for child care, and you're probably paying for that cost out of your current cash flow, your paycheck. Child care is a part of that regular monthly expense, and we can't avoid it. We know that. But there may be some methods available to you that can help save on taxes and reduced costs. So, for instance, you may have that flexible savings account that I mentioned, and you would designate that for dependent care, and the maximum you can put in that is $5,000, which if you have more than one kid, you probably spend that a year on child care anyway. But it does have that use it or lose it rule, so you're going to want to estimate how much you spend on child care and then put in that amount. So you're going to contribute the money before you pay taxes, and then it's usually taken out of your paycheck, the amount you contribute, and then you would go pay your daycare bills, and then you would reimburse yourself out of your flexible savings account. Most human resource departments have their own calculators that can show you how much contributing to a flexible savings account can save you. I also put on here that there may be a facility on site, so that may be something to look into. Some employers have a child care facility that's on site. They offer a discount if you choose to use it. Emergency child care, so if you have a situation where your typical daycare provider is sick or something came up and they can't watch your children, then some employers have what's called emergency child care, and that would be listed in your employee benefits package, as well as just discounts with local providers. When it comes to education, employers are realizing that the benefits of offering education to all of you outweighs their cost. So more and more employers are offering free classes, whether that's on coaching or business planning, or maybe it's a certification like Lean or Six Sigma, or additional designations for coding or technology or finance. So take advantage of those. It's free learning, and it's only going to help you build up your resume and your experience and help you with that next promotion or raise or new position. Tuition reimbursement. Some employers are offering tuition reimbursement, and that the way tuition reimbursement works is the employee actually pays the cost up front, and then the employer pays them back. It's usually maxed out at about $5,250 a year, and that's because that's the amount the employer can reimburse you for tuition without with avoiding you being taxed on that. So if they give you more than that, then you pay taxes and it's considered income. With the education component, I'd just say beware of the conditions that are set out in your contract or when you receive one of these benefits, because there may be rules that if you leave or you have to work for them for a certain amount of time or you have to pay them back. So here we are, where I'm going to give you some action items. And all of these action items really start with sitting down and taking a look at your employee benefits package. So if you don't know where to get a copy of your benefits, ask your HR department. They're going to give you a copy of the benefits. Determine the time frame for open enrollment for your benefits. So you probably get bombarded with emails about this, but know your deadline. Know the last day that you have to change your employee benefits. Sit down and look at your household budget and your expenses and review some of those items that maybe you're paying for that may be available to you through your employee benefits package. So whether that's child care and turning on the FSA, whether that's prescription costs and using the HSA, maybe it's adding additional income into your Roth because you have extra money, that type of thing. Use your financial team. If you don't have one, get one. I'm a firm believer that you need a team of advisors in your life to help guide you and make recommendations to your situation, and your recommendations should be customized and personal to you in your situation. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm more than happy to sit down with anyone and go through their employee benefits package at no cost to them. And lastly, don't wait. So that concludes the webinar. I hope that this was an informative and educational webinar for those of you who are on the line. As always, feel free to contact me if you have any questions. Keep in mind that I'm going to host a webinar each month on important and timely financial topics, and I hope that you can make some time to attend. Each webinar, my goal is to keep it under 30 minutes. And if you find something that was interesting or could be of use to a friend, colleague, family member, feel free to share the webinar. You can replay it, as I mentioned earlier, on YouTube. Feel free to follow me on LinkedIn, connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm always posting updated, timely information and market commentary. Thank you.